We're finally down the home stretch to this draft process, with the draft being tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing a live stream, watch along, all 3 days of the NFL draft. So if you want to come in for my real-time reactions, analysis, I'll have Alex from Hail Mary Sports, so it's going to be some good banter there. But yeah, join us for that. But here is my final 2023 mock draft of this draft cycle, and it's a predictive one, so not necessarily what I would do, but what I think would happen, and I'll try to make that explicit in the commentary. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. So this is predictive, and I'm not going to do anything funny. I'm going Bryce Young with the first pick in this draft. This might be the only pick I get right in this mock, but guaranteed this, I feel guaranteed this one's Bryce Young. Will Levis, I know, surged in the betting odds. That all stems from a Reddit. Well, I heard people close to Will Levis says he's going number 1. People close, like close in the vicinity, close to him personally. Like, what does that mean? But again, it's just Reddit inflated betting odds. We saw them not inflate the GameStop odds, or not odds, but their stocks, and that whole thing. Man, Reddit's a wonder. I'll just say that Reddit's a wonder. But it's Bryce Young. It's Bryce Young. However, pick 2, there was a report that came out that, oh, Will Levis is going to be picked number 2 by the Texans, and it was by a retired beat reporter. So I don't know how much validity there is to that, but right now, but prior to that, the hot thing was defender, top defensive player, and this is D'Amico Ryans. I've been saying, yo, pick 12, he's gonna put the fingerprint or his fingerprint on this defensive line. Well, maybe it's dropped the 1 and it's actually pick 2, and the popular news was Tyree Wilson being the top defensive player taken in this class. And I'm going to buy into some of the rumors there with that. Because, I mean, we saw it with Trayvon Walker last year. So I'm going to go with that. I don't think Will Levis goes at 2. I don't. I mean, I think maybe that's news coming out maybe for the sake of Colts making a last-second move. So I don't know. I think Tyree Wilson. If not, it should be Will Anderson. If they are going to go in a defensive direction, I think it should be quarterback, but that's neither here or there. So I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson, and we'll see how that goes. The Texans screwed my mock draft, my final predictive mock draft last year. I was initially like, man, I think Derek Stingley's the pick, but I'm going to go with the rumors, Kem Ikwonu, and then bam, Derek Stingley. I was like, okay, well, screw that. All right. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to trade out of this pick. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't think that this quarterback class is going to be as inflated as people think, where, oh, quarterback could go with the first 4 picks. I think, in all honesty, I think we're only going to see 3 quarterbacks go in the top 10, with 1 slide into that 11 to 20 area. That's what I'm feeling. But the Cardinals, I don't think they're going to be able to find a buyer for this pick. It's just on draft day. Not to say it's not been done before. It has, but typically you're not seeing trades inside the top 10 unless they're in the back end of that. So 8, 9, or 10. So I don't think the Cardinals can move from this pick. The popular name was Paris Johnson. Kyler Murray likes Paris Johnson. He wants more protection. But I feel like if the Cardinals are staring Will Anderson in the face, they cannot ignore that. It feels like the world has forgotten how good Will Anderson is. He is my edge 1 in this class, so we're going to go ahead and take him here. The Indianapolis Colts. Will Levis is the popular name here. Oh, Chris Ballard. He loves tools. He loves traits and all that. Well, then, okay, maybe make the case for Anthony Richardson. I'm going to go with CJ Stroud. I think the CJ Stroud stuff got overblown. I don't think he's going to fall like people think. I do think a quarterback's going to fall. I don't think he's the quarterback. Like all this smoke coming before the draft of, oh, he didn't go to the Manning Academy. We already knew that, and we didn't care about it then. We don't care. We shouldn't care about it now. Oh, he was hard to coach. Why are we just hearing about this? Oh, the S2 score wasn't that great. And it's like, you have the guy from S2 like, hey, yo, some people didn't test well because of, well, it was some people, we caught them early morning prior to their workouts. It was like, hey, can you cram this in? Sorry, we need to get this done. And hey, we could go ahead and have you retest on your pro day as well. That way you're, either more prepared or it's not like you trying to like squash this into a very busy schedule at the combine, because those schedules are tight. So I think it's a lot of smoke and a lot of mirrors right now with CJ Stroud. So Colts, they're taking a quarterback, absolutely. I'm going to go with them taking Stroud. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to buy into, there's a lot of rumors right now that there's a strong sense that the Seahawks will not walk away from this first round without a quarterback. I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson being that quarterback. They're going to take the cat with all the tools, tools for days, all the upside. And Geno, essentially, it's a 1-year deal. I know it's 3 years, but they can get out after 1 year. They're going to have him sit behind Geno for a year. That or this picks Jalen Carter. Those are the two favorites right now, but it's either, oh, that strong sense of them taking a quarterback's just bullcrap, and maybe they're just trying to trade down for a quarterback needy team, or they just take Jalen Carter. I think it's one of two, but I'm going to go with Richardson. This is my final mock. The Detroit Lions with both Will Anderson and you got Tyree Wilson, maybe Jalen Carter. Like, maybe that's going to be too much of a culture shock. Like, oh no, we want to get high character guys. There's too many red flags with Carter right now. I'm going to kind of buy into that. He slips a little bit, especially with Campbell trying to get this it's like, hey, we got a hard-working atmosphere. We want guys that have that gritty work ethic. And Devon Witherspoon, I think he's a good fit for Aaron Glenn's system. When we talk about Jalen Carter here for the Raiders, you got to think absolutely not. We've taken these red flags in the past, and you know what? It's really sucked for us. So I think they're actually going to go, I think that Christian Gonzalez, like the three names I heard very popular among the rumor mill is Peter Skoronski, Devon Witherspoon, but he's off the board, Christian Gonzalez. Their quarterback room is Nate Hobbs, and that's it. So I'm going to go with them taking Christian Gonzalez. Which now, the $1 million question. Both corners off the board. This must be Bijan Robinson, but Jalen Carter's there. Instead, this is where I'm going to have my first trade. So it's popular. Everyone knows the Steelers have been desperately kind of want to move up. They were talking to the Bears about moving up. Unfortunately, the Bears are sitting there like, well, we kind of want to tackle too, so go screw yourself. So the Steelers, I think the Falcons are the perfect team to talk to about that. So in this trade, I'm going to have the Falcons give an 8. They're also going to give up 224. And the Steelers trade 17, 49, and 120. So their second round pick, fourth round pick, and they're going to be grabbing, I believe, I want to say that pick 224 is a sixth or seventh NFL draft order. Just want to kind of confirm that real quick. There you are, Tankathon. Full draft order. And no, it's 7th. So Steelers will get back a 7th. So they're going to be moving up off of the trade. It's been done. Steelers are here. And right now, the Steelers have been rumored. Like, I know. I've been preaching Darnell Wright. But this is first tackle off the board territory. So, and they've been rumored to really like Paris Johnson. I don't think they had him in for a top 30 visit, but they probably also didn't think they were going to be able to get in position to get him. So I'm going to go ahead and take Paris Johnson for this pick for the Steelers. He is the betting favorite for first tackle off the board. And I feel like if the Steelers make a move here, then it's going to be Paris Johnson. It could be Darnell Wright. I really think Mike Tomlin loves Darnell Wright and DeJuan Jones. Now we got the Chicago Bears. This is the absolute floor. Jalen Carter ain't making it out of the top 10. He gets to 9 and they'd be like, okay, to hell. We'll figure out our right tackle situation later. And we're just going to go ahead and take Jalen Carter. For me, this is the absolute floor for Jalen Carter. So the first round, looking interesting. All right. So I think the Eagles would like to trade out of this pick. They want mine. Depending on how the board falls, they want mine trading out. And I know, but Bijan. I don't think the Eagles are going to take Bijan. Like, I came around to the idea of it. Doesn't mean I think they're going to do it. That front office is very analytically driven right now. So I think they're going to go ahead and, okay, maybe... for one, I was like, I think I know who I'm getting with this pick. But I think I can move down. Because this Will Levis, I think Will Levis is the quarterback that's going to slip. I know his whole stock's been getting inflated recently. And for me, I'm not buying it a little bit. But the problem is, I think that I don't think the Texans coming out of this draft without a quarterback. And I think the Titans, I don't know how much they're in love or not in love with Will Levis. I've talked to a couple of guys familiar with the Titans, and they're like, well, it sounds like they're not in love with Will Levis. And if he's the guy to fall, I think they might pass on him. That's what I'm hearing. But the Texans don't know that. So I'm going to have just a mini trade here. I mean, the Texans and the Eagles did business last year. So they're doing business this year. So the trade is the Eagles are going to give up 10. The Texans are going to give them 12. And they're going to give them 104, 161, and 188. Very similar to the trade last year. What the Eagles got for moving up a couple of spots with the Texans to get Jordan Davis. So it's a very similar trade than like last year. So Texans move up. They're going to go ahead. They're going to get Will Levis. So regardless, whether he goes at 2 or whether he goes with their second pick, I'm going to have the Texans taking Will Levis. Which now I'm sitting here in the Tennessee Titans and I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. They're also a popular trade down spot, or at least rumored to be, because they don't have a lot of picks in this draft. And I have a team that thinks they're a Super Bowl contender right now. And they feel like maybe a couple of pieces would just help sweeten those chances. So I'm going to have the New York Jets. I know they just traded for Aaron Rodgers and they swapped first round picks. Well, now I'm going to have them move up. Trade with the Tennessee Titans, because it's like, well, they only have 5 picks. It's like, yeah, they probably really don't need them. They're probably pretty happy with what they have, and they're probably looking to next year. We're like, yeah, next year's draft's going to be better, so it is what it is. So I have them giving a swap in first round picks. The Jets are going to give them 12. They're not going to give them another pick. Instead, I'm going to have them give them Denzel Mims, a guy that feels like he should have been traded a couple of years ago. So the Titans are going to get a guy who has looked good, whether it's preseason or the few times they let him get playing times, looked good playing time. So they're going to add another receiver to the core there while picking up a early day 3 pick. As you can see, their first day 3 pick is until 147. So that's the trade I have going on here. You might be like, well, why did the Titans just take Skoronski? We'll get to that in a second. So Skoronski's the last piece here for the Jets to kind of like, okay, we have assembled the affinity gauntlet on our offensive line because Mekhi Becton can't be trusted because Dwayne Brown, you can't really trust those guys' health. And rumor is that Skoronski is a tackle on the Jets' board, and in Joe Douglas, we trust them to go with the trenches. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. I got this via Tony Pauline. I think it's Pauline or Pauline. Regardless, The pair right now, Jackson Smith-Njigba, no one believes he's making it out of the top 15. Right now, it's rumored the Eagles really like him. And I did this with the franchise guy, I believe. And I think they just paid Jalen Hurts money, so let's get him some more weapons. You might be like, what? They already have A.J. Brown. They already have Devontae Smith. And it's like, yeah, you just completed with this phenomenal slot player. This after-the-catch guy that's a different flavor of what they than what they have at receiver. Quez Watkins is more of a vertical guy than... Now you have JSN, who's going to be a guy that can that's going to tear it up on the short to intermediate and then create after the catch. This is a passing league, and what do you need in a passing league? Receivers. You want to add more depth there. On top of that, Devontae Smith, like he's what, 2 seasons in now, going into his 3rd. You're going to have to think about, okay, can we financially bring him back? This kind of enables you to be like, okay, if we can't, it's not that serious. Not to say that they won't. I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, on top of that, I think JSN is one of the better run blocking wide receivers in this class. All right. Packers are going to Packer. If Jackson Smith was here, I would love that. Do I think they go with that? I don't. Right now, the hot name... outside of Keon White, the hot name is Michael Mayer for the Packers. So they're like, okay, we're going to help Jordan Love, and we're going to grab Michael Mayer, a nice security blanket. Forget the other receiving tight end out there that's actually really good. Like Michael Mayer is more all around. He could help support our run game and be a security blanket in the passing game, which is still fine. Do I think this is a little early for him? Maybe a little, but not much. I don't have him and Dalton Kincaid separated by that much. But I feel like, is it a reach? Not really, but you also don't expect him to go in the top 15. So Michael Mayer, Packers gonna Packer, but this is better than what they normally do. Okay, we got the New England Patriots. Sounds like this is corner or tackle. I'm going to go with tackle. We're going to go with a run on tackles. They brought in Broderick Jones on a top 30 visit. I don't believe they did that with Darnell Wright. So I think they're going to go with Broderick Jones with this pick and try to solidify that offensive line. I mean, do you really believe Trent Brown, Riley Reif, they want those guys to be the starters going forward? Or at least this season? I don't think so. So I think they go with Broderick Jones. All right, Tennessee Titans fans. I'm sorry. Tied it up. Tied it up, baby. But I'm buying into Hendon Hooker being a first-round pick. Would I take him in the first round? No. But I'm buying into he's going to be a first-round pick. And honestly, I was kind of projecting the Vikings. When Will Levis comes off the board and reports that, again, from people talking to me that are familiar with the Titans, that they don't love Will Levis, that Will Levis is not going to be the guy, and he's the one slipping. Then it's like, okay, then talking them trading back makes more sense. But if you trade back, you're going to want to trade back and stay in front of teams like the Buccaneers and the Vikings to solidify who I'm going to take here in Hendon Hooker, man. Like I said, I wouldn't take Hendon Hooker in the first, but I think we'll probably see his name called on Thursday night. So maybe, isn't this funny? This is kind of how the 2020 draft played out a little bit. And by the way, for the first time since 2019, 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10. So we almost had that in 2020. Justin Fields just ended up going here at 11. But it was a team that moved up. The Bears moving up for Justin Fields. Instead, Texans move up to 10. And instead of a team staying put at 15 is, I believe, where Mac Jones went, the Titans actually trade back. So they got stuff. They got their quarterback of the future. I believe Ryan Tannehill, they're going to let him ride out his deal. Okay, Washington Commanders. I know Ron Rivera doesn't take corners in the first round. But I with saying, hey, we want to get more physical at corner, and the tackle run kind of happening already. Darnell Wright, I don't feel like is a good fit. Also, with the edge group starting to slide here, and watch it not picking up Chase Young's 5th-year option, which I think people might make a bigger fuss of that than needs to be. I think they just want to be like, hey, come out, be healthy for a season. We'll get you that contract extension. So, I mean, edge is on the table here, but I'm going to go with Deonte Banks. They had a top 30 visit with him. They want to get more physical at corner. This allows them to do so. So we got Banks off the board here. Falcons, this is beautiful. They trade back, and they still get Bijan. I think Bijan is going to the Falcons. I don't know if a team will trade up for him at this point. I don't know if the Falcons, even if they move down to 17, I feel like maybe you want to move up a couple of spots just to make sure, like, for all I know, Washington could take him. The Patriots could take Bijan. The Eagles, I don't know, man. It's like, if you really love Bijan, how safe do you feel going back to 17? 17 feels so far away. But in this mock, he ends up being there for them. For the Falcons. All right, the Lions. This 18 pick has been rumored to be a popular trade down spot, and that's what we're going to do. Because outside of the Steelers, I think they're the most likely team to make a trade up this year. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the other team I think. They have all these assets. They can move up. So I have them moving up to 18. They're going to swap first rounders. And they are going to... Here, I have 90. I have Kansas City giving Detroit a 3rd. And then they're going to give them the 4th at pick 122. But Detroit will throw them a bone and give them 183 in this case, which ends up being a 6th-round pick. So that's what it is. They swap first. Detroit picks up a 3rd and a 4th, which it kind of fills out this area of the draft for them, where they have pick 81 and then not another pick until 152. Now they get 95 and 122. And then they just throw them a bone here with 183. So there's a trade. So Kansas City, I think they move up and they get the right tackle. They get the right tackle of the future with Darnell Wright, baby. I feel like he just feels like a Patriot. To me, he just feels a Patriot. He feels like a Chief. Honestly, he could go to the Patriots too. I think that would be a good spot for Darnell Wright. But I got Broderick Jones there. So Darnell Wright, the Chiefs make this move to get in front of the Bucks, who probably would really want to tackle here and now are kind of in tight bind. So Chiefs move up. They get Darnell Wright. With tackle now being off the board, I think they just go with best player available. To me, that's one of the edge talents, and that's Nolan Smith. Edge talent just falling down the board at this point. And I don't know if we'll exactly see this slide, but I mean, there's going to be players I have high that are going to fall. I truly believe that. Who that ends up being, that's kind of the $1 million question, but they get Nolan Smith. Their pass rush when Shaq Barrett went down was pretty bad. The Seahawks. Okay, I know that the Seahawks don't take corners, at least relatively early, but I think they have a chance to reform the new age Legion of Boom with this pick. You get Joey Porter paired up with Tyreek Woolen. They just brought in Julian Love. You get Kobe Bryant there in the rotation. And suddenly you have one of the biggest and most feared secondaries, I would say, in the NFC, maybe in the NFL. I like the fit. Do I think it happens? Honestly, I would say it's a 50-50, but not even. I would say there's a 33% chance of this happening. Them going wide receiver, but I feel like if they go quarterback with 5, that they're not going to go wide receiver. So let's chuck that. So now it's back to 50-50. or go with one of the edge talents here. In this case, Lucas Van Ness, Miles Murphy. I'm going to have them go with Porter because honestly, Porter's the top guy on my board. So we're just going to snag that. Chargers, for me, this was a no-brainer. Zay Flowers is still on the board. He has speed 4 days, and this offense would love, or at least needs to, the receiving core needs to get more speed, more vertical threat, or at least vertical separation downfield. All right, the Baltimore Ravens. So, okay, that sucks. All the corners just went off the board. What are you going to do here? The corners are gone. You could go Jordan and Addison. I think they would rather trade down and get more picks. So, because if you look, they only have 5 picks. I think they want to pick up more. We know the New Orleans Saints, they like to be aggressive. I think it would not surprise me if they decide to move up. So I'm going to have them move up in this instance. And the trade is going to be, they're going to swap first rounders. They're going to actually swap third rounders. And then the Saints are going to give them a 4th. And then they're going to give them this, I believe it's a 7th. It is in fact a 7th. So basically, Ravens move down 7 spots in the first. They move up 15 spots in the third while picking up a 4th and a 7th round pick. So that's the trade value I got here. Saints move up. Miles Murphy was a top 30 visit. I'm going to go with Miles Murphy here. So Lucas Van Ness, slipping, sliding, falling. Also, in part, Miles Murphy, I believe, made top 30 visits to both the Vikings and the Jaguars. Definitely the Jaguars. I'm not positive about the Vikings. So, yeah, this first round, especially with that Hendon Hooker pick, woof. It's a looking a mighty spicy. Again, this is predictive, not necessarily what I would do. Vikings, I don't know. Like, how much draft capital are they willing to give up to get active in this class at quarterback? I don't know. Maybe you just wait till next year and be like, all right, well, Kirk Cousins is gone, so let's go ahead. Let's just make that move to try to get Drake May, Caleb Williams in that class. Do they feel better about those guys than they feel about the guys in this class? Because I mean, they lacked the draft capital this year to make a. They lacked draft capital this year to make a significant move up without just throwing like 2024 and 2025 first round picks. So it might be more beneficial to wait till next year. Well, regardless, no corner here. It's fine. We're going to go Jordan Addison to pair up with Justin Jefferson. Both are filthy route runners. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars fans, let's just speak this sucker into existence. Even if they pick up Budda Baker via a trade, watch out for that. I think they still go with Brian Branch, man. Brian Branch is such a good fit. He provides a lot of versatility. I think he could play on the outside. I think he could play in the slot mainly. Probably, I think you have him start slot early on. So he's not going to be a guy I don't think you want him to play like cover 1 high, be that center fielder. But like if you go to more like cover 2, cover 4 concepts, I think that's fine. Regardless, we're going with Brian Branch here. Let's speak it into existence. All right, so Quentin Johnston staring the Giants right in the face. And I'm going to buy into Quentin Johnston slipping a little bit, and I don't think he's going to be this pick here. So we could talk corners. Is this where the next tier of corners come off the board? I think they just go with the safe pick and go with one of the centers. Like, we're going to have our first interior talent off the board in this class. With I had to settle. I was between John Michael Schmitz, Steve Avila, who I think is has first round hype. Watch out for him sneaking into the first. And Joe Tippmann. Ultimately, I settled on John Michael Schmitz because I feel like he might not have as much upside as like Tippmann, as much power as Avila, but he's gonna be guaranteed a solid center in the league. That's how I feel about it. All right, so initially I was going to go Steve Avila for this pick. Steve Avila, I thought, you know what? I think they could go with him there, but maybe they trade down. But and maybe pick up Mozzie Smith a couple of picks later. But I really think the Bills might take Mozzie Smith. Do they go with Lucas Van Ness? That would be an interesting option. I just think Jerry Jones is going to Jerry Jones, and I think we're going to see 2 running backs in the first round. So we're going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs, man. They're going to love this cat. And now they won't have to re-sign Tony Pollard after next season. So, yay. All right, man. And especially with all the, Gibbs is running back 1 hype, which is like, no, it's Bijan. It's Bijan by a mile and a half. But Gibbs is pretty darn good, but they are kind of the consensus 1 and 2 in this class. So perhaps we see Gibbs, I said Gibson. Perhaps we see Gibbs sneak into the first round here. The Buffalo Bills, Quentin Johnson, man, I would have loved that pick here. That's the pick I would have gone. But he's sliding. But I think this pick ends up coming down to, it's like, we would have taken Mozzie Smith, maybe DeJuan Jones, Anton Harrison. But this Lucas Van Ness slide feels kind of ludicrous. I think he goes in the top 20. I really do. I just ended up not being able to find a spot for him. When, I was taking, the rumors I'm hearing, trying to, circulate what I think is true, not true. And I just ultimately couldn't find a spot for him. So I'm going to take him here for the Buffalo Bills. They had, AJ Epinesa. I know that wasn't, great. But I think Lucas Van Ness is a different animal. And you could have him develop a little bit as a rotation player behind Von Miller. And then kind of be the guy that kind of usurps and becomes just, it's going to be a disgusting rotation they have on the defensive line there. All right, the Bengals, I would love DeJuan Jones at this pick. I don't think they're going to do it. Question is, do I think they go corner, tight end, or edge? Or they could go Kalijah Kancey, Eddie Tamiwa. I think Dalton Kincaid. I think 2 tight ends going to the first round. And I think the prime spots for it are Packers, Commanders, Cowboys, Bengals. I think those are the 4 prime spots. So I'm going to go with Kincaid here. All right. We got the Baltimore Ravens. They're back on the clock. And I think they're going to go ahead and, now that they moved back, picked up some extra picks, I think they're going to go with the corner of their choice here and start that second tier. And I think that guy's Cam Smith. They will love how this guy plays. He has inside-outside versatility similar to Marlon Humphrey, which you're going to love. So we're going to go with Cam Smith there. Again, dude was a top 30 visit. All right, we have the Eagles. This might be an obvious Kalijah Kancey spot, but I don't know, man. I don't completely buy the hype with Kancey. However, I do think they go with one of the guys that they went with on their top 30 visits, and that's actually going to be Will McDonald, to be that guy that just flies off the edge for him. I think Will McDonald is going to sneak into the first round. I really do. And then Detroit Lions, final pick. Before I make this pick, I'm going to talk about some of the guys that ended up sliding out of the first round that at least I predict might slide out of the first round. And obviously, Quentin Johnson's the one I'm the least happy about. I'm going to buy into that. Not a lot of people love Quentin Johnson as a first round guy. I think we're going to see him go very early day 2, but I really hope he goes in the first round. I would take him. I'm pretty high on him. The tackles, Anton Harrison, DeJuan Jones. I think it just ends up being these guys go exceptionally early in the second round. If the Steelers are let's just pair up Paris Johnson with his counterpart, DeJuan Jones. So I think that might be something that'd be kind of wild. I would think it's unprecedented though. So yeah, I think the both tackles end up sliding out of the first. Osiris Torrance, I love him. He's my interior one, but we just haven't heard a lot of hype around him as a first round prospect. Kalijah Cansey is a guy to consider here for Detroit. They keep in mind they picked up Devon Witherspoon, so I don't think they double up at corner here. Maybe we see 3 tight ends. No, we're not seeing 3 tight ends. I ended up going with Mozzie Smith. I think they moved back, and I think it's understated about we just don't have those stout against the run tackles in this class, or at least not a lot of them. So I think guys like Mozzie Smith, Keanu Benton are going to go higher than people anticipate. I kind of expect Mozzie to be a first round pick. He was first guy on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. I don't think he's getting enough hype. I think he goes in the first round. The question is where. You might be like, well, now they're just stupid meaty in the middle. It's like, yeah, that rotation is going to be sick in the middle with Mozzie Smith, Aleem McNeil. You got guys like, who they have, like Benito Jones, right? They brought him back. Did they bring back Bugs? Let me just confirm. Lions. Excuse me. Yeah, they brought back Isaiah Bugs. Benito Jones is there. Ooh, I liked Demetrius Taylor at Appalachian State a few years ago. Levi Ozarike, apparently the spinal thing might be career-ending for him right now. So that's something to watch out for. So it's like, well, why don't they go with a penetrator? It's like, because it honestly teams might view, like, especially with, like, they get scared. It's like, okay, are these guys pass rush only? Like, we already got James Houston. It's like, we don't want that James Houston on the interior. You know, when we want guys that we could kind of like rotate in and out for really any situation. And Mozzie Smith's pass rush upside ain't bad. Oh, Gojo, you burped. You okay, buddy? But I'm going to go with Mozzie Smith here, which now completes my first round predictive mock draft. Let me know what you think. I know you're going to be like, this is crazy. This looks ludicrous. And I don't disagree. But, I mean, when you're predicting the NFL draft, it kind of has to be. Here, I'm going to make this small so you can see all the picks. Oh, it's getting too small now. All right, let's just go ahead and make it. There we go. All right, so there it is for you. I know it's wild, it's crazy. Hendon Hooker going in the top 20 is nuts. Like, I know that. Like, I was kind of sold that I was going to take him at the Vikings. But, like, I really don't know what Tennessee's going to do with that pick. And I really think the Jets really like Skoronski, so it's like it made sense for them to move up. Like, I think Will Levis is going to fall. I think he's going to slide. Like, if he makes it to 12, like, even the Titans pass on him, it wouldn't surprise me. Watch Levis ended up being, like, quarterback 2 in this, like, ends up being the second quarterback off the board to, like, the Texans at 2 or the Colts at 4. But let me know what you think. What do you think is going to happen in the NFL draft? It's wild. That's the NFL draft. Let me know what you think of these picks. How probable do you think this is? But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.